Laura from How to Get Your Shit Together, and I am back with a quick update on my KonMari progress. So recently I have cheated a little bit. I have done locations instead of categories, and I just thought it was necessary. I was tired of doing categories that took up most of a room and then leaving the rest of the room just in a heap. So when I did the kitchen last time, and I will link to that video down below in the description box if you'd like to see that, but when I did the kitchen, afterwards there were a lot of things left over that didn't really fit into the kitchen category, and I just felt that I needed to finish off that space. So I did. So that was cheating a little bit. But there were a lot of toys, my daughter's toys and books and things that had been discarded in the kitchen category that were still lying around the kitchen that still hadn't kind of moved on. So one day I decided that I would remove all of that stuff, all the kind of miscellaneous stuff that I hadn't already purged. So I got a big box and I literally threw everything into it and I dragged it out into the hall. And that immediately made so much difference in the kitchen. So that really made me feel better, even just getting it out of the room. Then there was the junk cupboard, because why have a junk drawer when you can just go the whole hog and take up an entire cupboard? So that was kind of not visible when you walked into the kitchen, but it was still something that we use on a regular basis, and particularly now that it's coming into summer. Certainly here in Dublin it is slightly coming into summer. It's a little less wet than it normally is, a little bit brighter, so we've kind of been throwing sunglasses in there, and they would be used now on a quite regular basis, so we would be in and out of that cupboard quite regularly. So I pulled everything out of that, spread it all out across the floor and went through everything. Did the usual thing when I'm doing stuff that I have to share with my husband, which is text him pictures of the stuff that I want to get rid of, and then he will tell me what from that he wants to keep. So I continued on with that because that worked very well for the kitchen. So, and it is still working very well, so I'm still recommending that. The junk drawer, or cupboard I should say, is a slightly awkward space in that it is under our breakfast bar, so it's not very easily accessible like a normal cupboard would be, but it's not awkward really to get to. It's just a matter of kind of bending down a bit. But I thought I could use the space a lot better. So what I did was I put all of these small kitchen appliances into that cupboard, and that made things a lot easier for us because they were in a corner cupboard, which, although it had more space in it, the opening to it was a lot smaller. So getting out things like the slow cooker, the crock pot, was a little bit more difficult, just because the opening was so much smaller. So I moved all the small appliances, or the vast majority of the small appliances, to what was the junk cupboard, and it has made a big difference. I think so far it has made a big difference in our kitchen. And I moved what was left after I KonMari'd the stuff in the junk cupboard to the corner cupboard, because that stuff would be accessed on a much less regular basis. So it's still accessible in the kitchen, but it's not taking up space that could be used for things that are utilized much more regularly. So it's still there, but it's just a little bit more out of the way. And that has worked out really well so far for us. So as I said in the kitchen video, when you're going through the process, you really should stop and think about how you utilize the space and what would work best for you, what things you use on a regular basis, so what things need to be closer to hand, and what things you don't necessarily use on a regular basis, but that you still need in the general vicinity. So moving those to a slightly more out of the way place. That has worked out really well for us, and I'm really pleased with that. I'm sure as we go on, I will kind of tweak things, but so far so good. The only thing I didn't go through this round was a storage unit that I bought in IKEA a long time ago. It has 6 drawers in it, and I use those drawers for storing things like batteries, light bulbs, sellotape and glue, all those kind of small fiddly little things, screws and nails. So I have that unit, and everything is divided out into a separate drawer, and that has been working reasonably well for us, but I still think there is a lot of room for improvement there. But I've just left it for the moment because, as I said, it's working out reasonably well. So I want to move on to things that are annoying me a lot more, and I will eventually come back to that. Then I moved on to the laundry room, which is just off our kitchen. It's actually this room right here, and it was an absolute disaster. I did the usual, pulled everything out of it. It was all piled up here in the kitchen, on the kitchen floor. I had to dust off a lot of the things because they were just filthy from sitting in there for so long. A lot of things that were in there were actually things I had purged during the kitchen KonMari, so a lot of mugs and glasses and bowls and plates and things like that I had just left in there, out of the way until I could go to the charity shop. So they were taking up a lot of space, but there was a lot of other stuff as well, so I can't really use that as an excuse. There was a lot of kind of baby stuff, stuff that I used when I first had my daughter. So baby bottles, bottle brushes, sterilizer, just various bits and pieces like that I had kind of hung on to, thinking we'll probably have another baby sometime down the road. Way down the road. No immediate plans. So, but I was kind of hanging on to that stuff, thinking if we have another baby, there's no point going out and buying all this stuff again. But realistically, I don't have plans right now to have another baby. And also, that stuff has been lying around so long now that it's just disgusting. There's no way I'm going to reuse that. Even if I was pregnant right now and I soaked that stuff in bleach for the entire 9 months, I still would not reuse it on a second baby. So I got rid of all of that stuff. The rest of it was kind of just practical stuff, laundry stuff, detergents. So I generally kept most of those. I threw out 1 or 2 things, kind of spot treatments, stain treatments, little spot remover things that we don't really use at all. And we had 2 tubs of laundry tablets that I just condensed into 1 tub. There were 2 half tubs. So that cleared up a lot of space on its own. And it has made such a difference. I put everything back, although I did make the mistake, maybe not mistake, but I did pull out the washing machine and the dryer while I was in there. Now I know this is about kind of purging and organizing, not necessarily cleaning, but I thought while I was in there and the space was empty, I would pull out the washing machine and dryer and clean behind them. And I did, and it definitely needed cleaning. There was a lot of dust and dirt and just general hideousness hidden back there. So because our steam cleaner, we are currently without a steam cleaner after my husband decided to snap the pipe of the last one. I literally was down on my hands and knees cleaning the floor, which I have not done for a long time. But there you go, needs must. I was committed, I got in there, I got the whole place cleaned out, and I am delighted with myself. So put the stuff that I was keeping back into the space, so much more counter space now. And that is going to make the laundry process so much easier. The laundry process was already easier after I did all of my clothes, but now it's going to be even easier that I have space to actually sort clothes and fold them and things. And that is one of the things I have learned as I've gone through the KonMari method, that there are so many benefits to it, but they keep adding up. Things, my daily routine, things that I do on a very regular basis are just becoming easier and easier. I have less things to clean. I have more space in which to clean them or to sort them or to use them. And it's just made such a big difference. So as I go along, the benefits are adding up, and that is a great motivator. It keeps me going. It makes me want to do more. Even though at the time, I won't say I hate the process. I certainly don't hate the process. I wouldn't say I jump for joy every time I'm in the middle of it, but I do feel motivated to keep going. All of these advantages, they spur me on. So with that in mind, I decided, why stop there? I did the utility room next. What I call the utility room, it's actually just the space underneath our stairs, but that is off the laundry room as well. It's just in the back. I went through that, I pulled everything out. That is where we keep cleaning tools. So the vacuum cleaner, mop and bucket, dustpan, sweeping brush, vacuum cleaner, yes, and our steam cleaner when we had one, when I replace it, that will go back in there. But there were also a lot of boxes in there. I would buy things maybe from Amazon or whatever, and it would come in a giant box. And if I didn't need whatever it was kind of immediately, I would just stuff it in there. So the utility room became, again, another dumping ground for stuff. And because I sweep and mop on a very, very regular basis, several times a week, and sometimes several times a day, if you have a toddler or kids, you will 100% understand that. I was using that stuff on a very, very regular basis, and it was just becoming a nightmare to access stuff. I would go in and take something out, and like 2 other things would come with it. So I pulled everything out, spread it out all over the kitchen again. My daughter was here to help me. And while I was trying to throw things away, she was sneaking them back into the kitchen. She's thankfully really into cleaning. She likes dusting things and sweeping, or her version of sweeping anyway. So when I was getting rid of some of the mops, she was dragging them back in to mop the floor. Very cute, but not what I needed right then. But I persevered. I cleaned out the space. She temporarily decided to reclaim it as her little house. So I had to clean it out a second time, clean it out of little bunnies, toy bunnies and teddies and dolls and things. Cleaned it all out. Again, it was full of dirt and dust. So I swept that all out. Again, mopped it. And then started putting stuff back in. Now, I will say that even though the stuff that is in there now is stuff that we use on a very regular basis, and it is stuff that I want to keep, definitely, I have a much better plan for that room. Right now, there is no storage in it. It's just an empty space. So what I want to do is add some storage bits, some hooks to hang up the sweeping brush and the mop, just to get things off the floor. Same with the ironing board. And then on the other side, I want to install some narrow shelving so that I can use the room as a sort of pantry. I can store food and paper towels and things like that will free up some more space in the kitchen. They would be kind of extra things, pastas, tinned food, things like that. And then, as I said, paper towels, all of those bits that I don't really want taking up space in the kitchen because I don't want to be moving things out of the way to get to the stuff that I actually want, but I still need that stuff on hand to replenish stocks and things. So I think that's what I would do, install some very narrow shelving in there, maybe just buy a cheap bookcase, something like that. So I have a vision for that room. So that will be tweaked as time goes on. And I found that throughout this entire process, getting rid of what you don't need and seeing what you have left gives you a much clearer idea of what sort of storage you will need. Even like going way back to the beginning for clothes, I was constantly buying clothes hangers, and then I got rid of all of my clothes and realized I have way more hangers than I actually need. So it'll save me money there, but it just gives you a much better sense of what sort of storage you need. I need storage for my bags. I still haven't found proper storage for my handbags, storage for belts, things like that. So that's what the utility room has done as well. It has shown me exactly what I need to store the stuff that I'm keeping. And that is, I mean, it's enlightening, I suppose. It just gives you a much clearer picture of how your house works, how you work, what systems you have in place and how they're working out for you. Again, just another one of the many, many benefits of the process. So it has been really good for me so far. As I said, I have discovered many, many benefits to it. It is making my day-to-day routine so much easier, and even easier and easier as time goes on, which isn't usually the case with things. Usually you clean up an area and it is temporarily easier for you to do stuff until it, inevitably descends into chaos again. Or at least that's the way it is in my house. I don't know about yours. But this method has actually just been increasing the benefits as time goes on. It's just making things easier and easier. So I really can't wait to see how well the house runs when I have finished this process. She says in the book that it takes about 6 months to complete the process, and right now that does seem like a fairly accurate time frame. I am just over 3 months in, and I am about halfway through the house. So now I'm really not looking forward to the attic. But that is for the future. I think the attic I will do last because that stores a lot of mementos and sentimental things which are supposed to be kept until last. So I have a lot of boxes up there with letters and pictures and just little knickknacks and things that I've picked up over the years. There are also some decorations, Christmas decorations and things, a lot of junk up there as well, but I think I will leave that area until last. Also because it's very awkward to access. But that is my quick update for the moment. I will say that we will be away for the next 2 weeks, so you won't have an update from me for another few weeks, but I am looking for suggestions on what space I should tackle next. I'm really not sure. I think I have done the main ones that have been really bugging me, like the laundry room and the utility room. So I'm looking for suggestions on what spaces you have done, categories you have done that have made a big difference in your life. So I have already done clothes, books, papers, toiletries, stationery, kitchenware, and now the junk cupboard, laundry room and utility room. So I'm looking for ideas for what to tackle next. So please let me know if you have done a particular category and it has proved maybe easier than you thought, or it has produced better results than you thought. Inspire me, people, inspire me. So I will be reading all of your comments while I'm on holidays, and I will be ready then, hopefully, when I get back to get stuck in again. So please leave your comments below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and obviously subscribe. That would be great, so that you can keep up with my progress, and hopefully it's inspiring some people either to get started or to continue on with their journey. So please do subscribe, that would be great. And I will see you. I will have videos in between KonMari, my KonMari updates, so stay tuned for those too. And I will see you with a KonMari update in another few weeks. So thank you a million for watching as usual, and I hope you're going somewhere sunny too. Enjoy. Bye.